Hello, Namaskar. I hope you're doing fine. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching this from. Today is a most auspicious day. It's the that rare year when we have both Saraswati Pujo as well as Parakram Divas, the birth anniversary of one of the greatest leaders our nation has ever seen, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And I just felt that today, being such a special day, it would be just the right time, just the right moment to start Vivartana Vārta, a special space where we will be discussing, reflecting upon different types of transformation, different, the different aspects of it. And this is especially important because as we all know, the world is going through a very, very turbulent and tumultuous time, very uncertain, very complex. So transformation is something that is what Vivartana is all about, and all the different sessions, the different talks that we will be having uh, at Vivartana Vārta will be around transformation, different aspects of it applied to different themes, different parts of our life. But this podcast, whilst at least for the first few sessions, I will be the only one speaking. Transformation is not something that has a very clear cut definition. Like so many other things, it is up to us how we experience it. It's very experiential. And accordingly, before I actually decided to start this recording, the in the since in the last 24 hours or so, I had reached out to many of you seeking your thoughts, your views on what transformation actually is. A number of you were kind enough to respond with your thoughts, for which I'm truly grateful because any particular show, podcast, whatever, it will not be, very meaningful unless the you the viewers you participate. So I'm truly grateful for all of you who have responded to my query, share your thoughts, and I look forward to having a very meaningful set of reflections with you. And over a period of time, we will gradually have guests on the show as well as the weeks pass. Now, so I went through all the responses that I got, and there were some very, very interesting highlights. Okay, so the first interesting overall major takeaway that I would like to share, and this particular segment of this podcast episode is about sharing or a little bit of a kind of a synthesis. I'm not going to read out individual inputs, but more what I will be doing is I am going to be kind of giving you a summary or a synthesis of all the inputs I got. So, two very important things I would say, and I'm kind of looking at the inputs because I don't want to mess up the very beautiful thoughts that I saw. No one, not one person, described transformation as an external event. Almost everyone described it as an inner shift, you know. So it was less about changing our circumstances, less about changing our circumstances, but much more about changing our state of being within those circumstances. Think of it. We are not going to be changing our circumstances. That's not necessarily in our hands. It is much more about changing ourselves, our responses, and changing our state of being within the environment. Profound, isn't it? So, some of the most, I would say, the key takeaways that I found, right, is as I mentioned just now, it is about an inner shift, it is not an external change. Second, very important, and this frankly kind of aligns with my own thoughts. I often tell people it is not necessarily that we should be reacting to events or to things or to what's happening. We need to respond. Reacting is it's a knee-jerk thing. Responding is about kind of processing the information, processing what has happened, and then kind of providing your response, but doing all this pretty quickly and in effectively in real time. Okay, so second part, as I mentioned, is like responding, not reacting. Third, a very important thing, quite often under recognized, is that discipline is key. Even the even the skill of responding, yes, responding is a skill, okay, something that can be developed, okay, even that happens over time with a lot of practice, with a lot of discipline practice. So discipline is vital even here, right? The next point, and a very interesting insight I thought, was that some people felt it's more about moving from a current state to a higher state. So transformation essentially seeks, or rather essentially entails, taking ourselves from the state at which we are today to a higher state. It could be any dimension under and on any plane, but the idea is about moving to a higher state. Okay. Next is about the challenges we face. Okay, we have to grow in spite of challenges, grow beyond the challenges. Challenges are essentially, if I may say so, a way of the Almighty to help us grow beyond where we are today, right? And the sixth point, the sixth main important idea here is what we are, we say, we are Vivartana. And what is Vivartana? It is essentially a form of evolution. So, in the view of many people, and that again aligns with our personal view, is that when you transform, you evolve. So, transformation is also essentially a form of evolution, right? A form of Vivartana. So, now come to think of it, is there any aspect in our lives where this is not applicable? Just if we may think about it a couple of minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, right? So, for example, many of us, at least me, and I'm sure many people, many of you dear viewers who are watching this podcast episode, right? Many of you would be having your own married and having your own children, right? What is parenting? Parenting is essentially, at its very essence, a journey of transformation. Transformation of the child, transformation of us as parents, whilst we help our children and support our children grow and develop. So that is in a very nice, very beautiful two-way transformation process, right? So, for example, many of us are working in some industry, in some capacity, whatever it is. So that's the role is not important, but It's about the work we do. We are transforming at three levels at least. One, we are transforming as professionals the more we are working. Two, we are enabling our colleagues, our co-workers, our reporting managers. They are transforming the more they are handling us, or rather, they are working with us, right? And the organization is also undergoing a transformation process as a result of the collective, right? As a result of all the employees, all the associates putting in their contributions. So that's all, everything is transformation, right? Now, I just would like to kind of help you, just let's say, reflect on a few things before I gradually wrap up this particular episode. Today, the world is an increasingly volatile and uncertain place, right? Be it the rate of acceleration, the rate at which tech disruption is accelerating, right? The rate at which, let's say, even value systems are changing, right? For some old fogies like myself, it's very difficult to understand the value systems of the youth today, right? So everything is changing and changing so fast. How do we as individuals, and you can actually extend the same analogy to systems. Those systems can be a corporate house, the systems can be an NGO, can be a school, whatever, any entity, right? Every entity needs to adapt. Note the word carefully. Every entity needs to adapt, and adapt in real time to all the, if I may get into a bit of physics here, get all reveal the adapt to all the sheer stress that it kind of faces all the time, in order that it can sustain its level of performance, level of excellence, right? So every organization, whether it is a software company, whether it is a bank, whether it is a school, a university, NGO, whatever, every organization has to sustain its performance, needs to constantly kind of meet its targets, in fact, exceed its targets. Every organization needs delighted customers, right? But in this day and age of very, very volatile like situation where the things are constantly changing, how does this happen? How can this be done? Right? So whether it be parenting, whether it be other familial equations, or whether it be anything, whether it is about a youngster setting out on a career and wondering, so for example, if a youth is studying like getting into a 4 year or 3 year bachelor's degree, I mean, are the skills he picked up in he or she has picked up in college, are they still relevant 3 years after he or she has completed the bachelor's degree? Your guess is as good as mine. So, in today's day, and I'll leave you with this thought, in today's day and age, Vivartana, or evolution, is not just a good to have skill, it is a must have, something, a basic life skill, again, for both individuals and collectives, right? It is a must have life skill, absolutely obligatory for survival and sustenance. Do you agree? Please let me know your thoughts. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.